Doc, we better back up. We don't have enough road to get up to 88.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hey everyone, Scooby-Doo here, and welcome to the Back to the Future 3 train diorama build. Today we're going to start with the base. One thing with coming up with these ideas is where to start when you get ready to build. I was going to start with the train, but I'm missing a few pieces, so I'm going to wait on that. We're going to do the base, which I'd normally start with the moldacine. However, I need to add some trees, and I purchased these from Woodland Scenics. Look like this, and you actually have to put the trees together or actually make them. Come like a metal type branches, and you have to form them and obviously paint them because these are silver. And then I guess you just put the it's got some kind of like moss or something. See there, some instructions out of the way. Some moss, and I guess you put them on the branches. So first time doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and start by forming these, but they do bend, and painting them. So I had them ready to go, so when I do put the moldacine down, I can just put them into place. So we're going to go ahead and start by pausing the camera. I'm going to get all these trees all formed, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I just finished doing the trees. I painted them. Show you one. They're probably not going to look that great on the video up close because they're kind of thin. But since the diorama is going to be higher up, I didn't spend too much time of making the trees look too full because they look fine like at that distance. Plus also too, I have some extra stuff left over, so I can always go in and fill it in more. So just spray painted it brown and white, and then added the that green moss stuff. It just kind of connects onto the branches. Now we're going to do the moldacine. I went ahead and put down some styrofoam. This is just to help with the contouring. Also too, it's to fill in some of the gaps because this is obviously much lighter than the moldacine. So I got a big thing of moldacine here. I'm going to mix it with some water, and we're going to go ahead and lay it down. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and just pour this onto the shelf. Yeah, I'm definitely going to need more, aren't I? Which is fine. I'll probably do it in another video. At least this is going to give you my starting base. Alright, so I finished putting the rest of the moldacine down from that container. Looks like I'm still going to need a little bit more. But I'm going to go ahead and clean up everything that I'm doing right now. Normally I smooth everything out really smooth when I'm working on my Star Wars walls. Or I mean my shelves. But this one I'm going to leave a little bit unsmooth. If that's a word. Unsmooth. Because of the terrain it's supposed to represent. But you can see it's already starting to harden. And I did make this area smooth because this is where the track is going on there. So, What I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and let this dry. I could continue and finish this up, but I got some other stuff I'm going to do. And like I said, with the moldicine, you can actually let some stuff dry, come back, add more later. It's fine. So we're going to go ahead and let this dry up. Then I'm going to add the rest over here. And then when we come back, we'll go ahead and start placing the trees and some rocks and some other things, and then lay down the track. Okay, so I let the moldicine dry, and you can see where I did some contouring. And then what I did is I did the spray glue, added some sand, and then added some of that moss that came off of the trees. So it kind of gives a landscaping effect, which is exactly what we were looking for, correct? And then I drilled some holes into the moldicine for the trees. So just use just a regular drill, and they'll just go right into place, as so. Now I'm actually going to use some hot glue. I'll put those down in the holes to permanently, well, not permanently, but securely get these into place. There we go. So I'll just kind of line those up. Also too, I got these. These are actually trees. I get like bags of them off of eBay. They're like $1. And I'm actually going to make these into bushes. So I'll cut off the bottom area here and just place a couple in different spots just for color. Also too, when I plan on putting the track in, which I'm also going to be hot gluing, I'm going to be putting the train about 2 centimeters or so actually above the track. And the reason why we're going to be doing that is because the train is it's around like it's a G scale. It's probably like 122 or 123 scale, and the DeLorean is 118 scale. So to make them look a little bit closer together in scale, we're going to be setting the car off the track, and then we'll be putting the train actually a little bit above the track. And so that doesn't show, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some extra little screws in so the train actually sits a little bit higher. And then to avoid anybody seeing that the wheels aren't actually touching the track, I'll just place a bush here and there to kind of cover that up so the illusion looks better and the ratio looks better. Okay, now on to the fun stuff, modifying the train. Now this is a New Bright train. I got this off of eBay. I got it loose. New Bright makes a lot of trains. Now this one's a G scale. They have ones that are Christmas themed, Easter themed, purple, green, any kind of color you can think of. But obviously we want black. So I got a black one, not knowing how hard or easy it would be to modify and paint. But actually it's really easy to do so because there's just a couple of screws. Well, there's actually a bunch of screws underneath the train, but just taking apart a couple of the screws allows you to take off this canopy, and then the rest of the stuff just snaps off. I started working on this last month, and then I stopped because I wanted to get most of it on film. But you can see here how it kind of originally looked, and you have the gray, and you can also take a look at this picture on how it looked like with the decals. So what I did with the decals is once I took a lot of these parts off is I just soaked them in water and then took them off. And then I got this coal car, which actually in the movie is wood, so we're going to do some painting on this to make it look more like wood. And once we get all that painted, I got these decals. They say 131 on them. We're going to put those on the train because that was the number of the locomotive. Now the New Bright trains actually make noise and smoke comes out of the stack when you hook them together. However, since I bought these separately, the connector piece, I thought they'd all be the same. They're not. So this one actually doesn't go with it, even though it looks like it does. So it won't be active, it won't be making noise or having smoke. That would have been cool for the diorama, but I didn't feel like buying another coal car, because that's where you put the batteries in. I actually put the batteries on top. So we're going to go ahead and pause the camera. I'm going to spray paint the rest of the train and the coal car and add the decals. And then also too, we have to build a front bumper for this train because it had some tires here in the front. And then we should have our locomotive. So, alright, so we got the painting all done, and I reversed my camera back on my phone again, so sorry for the red dots, but I do get a higher definition filming it out of the front part of the camera, so we're just going to deal with the red dots. So on to the painting. I was actually going to show how I did some of the white dry painting and stuff and the weathering, but I've done this stuff before on other videos, so I decided just to go ahead and not bother re-showing it again. But if you have any questions, you can always leave them down below. So we finished all the black spray paint, the flat black, and then we did the white, like I said, just to contour out some of the different features on the train. Then we added the decals. It's 131. This is the back car. Now, I didn't really care for the painting I did on for the wood on top. It's just kind of, and I decided just to leave it just how it was. So, yeah, it looks fine. So 131, took off the back ladder here, and so I could get the 131 on the back, like in the movie, and again did some white dry painting in the back. There it is. And then for the dirt, I used an old technique of just using some hairspray, and then I just threw some dirt on there and let it stick where it sticks. Very simple. Take a little bit closer look at that. Now, if you want to see what it kind of looked like, on this side I didn't really do as much work because I did want to show you kind of what it looked like regular. Again, very, very easy to do. You just take the brush and just kind of, well, I guess I could have shown you, but anyways, so there it is. Now onto the front. I added this red part. I did not, let's see, I'm looking in a drawer here to show you what I used. There we go. I decided not to paint the 131 because it had been so small, because it did say 131 here on the front. But this is what I use. It's like a screw cap, like when you're doing furniture or something and you screw something into the wood, but you don't want the screw to show. It kind of snaps into place. I know, whatever. And just painted it red, and it actually fit perfectly on there. Didn't have to glue it, didn't have to do anything. It actually snapped into place. Very odd. I don't know about that, but hey, sometimes things work out really great. And this last part here is I used a couple of popsicle sticks and kind of cut them up a little bit into different sizes. Hot glued them together, added 1/24 scale tires, and then did the same hairspray, threw on some dirt, and there you go, there's the front bumper. And there's the train completed. Whoa. And then we're gonna pair it up with the 1/18 scale Sunstar DeLorean 3. I was gonna weather this, but I decided just to leave it. I don't know why I decided to leave it, but I did. So there we go. Our vehicles are ready. The display has been finished up, so the last thing we have to do is just put it on the display and we're all done. Let's go ahead and do that and wrap up this video. Alright, so now that we got the display up, let's get some music going. We'll go ahead and take a look at it. Western Union letters that Doc sent Marty. In the background. Got the end of track sign right there. And there we go, completed diorama, Back to the Future 3. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Don't forget, we do have all of the Star Wars stuff coming out in the next 3 months in the FET build. And until then, I shall talk to you guys later. You guys have a fantastic week. Simply awesome.